Open adoption started in the West Coast and was popularized only 20 years ago. I wanted to know what the major steps of open adoption are and how birth parents and adopted parents meet each other. I called and talked with Stephanie, an adoption counselor at Open Arms Network, and sat down with my parents, Christopher and Lori, to get a taste of what the process is like.
So we want women that are considering adoption for their child to feel like to know that they get to drive this train.
She chose us.
We had to create an adoption profile book, which is kind of like a scrapbook.
Oh, it is a scrapbook. You go out to Hallmark and you buy one of these hardbound photo album things that people use for scrapbooking, and you fill it with pictures and little statements that you print up about, and you write a letter that goes at the front of it, "Dear birth mother." And then the birth mothers come into the agency and they've got like this room with a whole bunch of these books on a shelf.
And what happens is that the adoption agency, from talking to the birth parents, they find out like what the birth parents want. Do they want to place their child with a family with no other children or with other children?
Religious, not religious, pets, no pets. You get the idea.
Mom.
You get the idea.
So we met her when she was in her second trimester.
Before the adoption, I think we first met her at the agency. They arranged a meeting for us where it was sort of like chaperoned by somebody from the agency.
And I always say it's the first 5 minutes is kind of like a bad blind date, right? Everybody's really, really nervous.
I can imagine.
We usually go for lunch or something, and it's pretty amazing that sitting down and sharing a meal with someone sort of tears down those barriers and those boundaries. And there's something about that family that attracted the birth mom in the first place, and so we get pretty quickly to a point of, wow, we all have a lot in common. We
went out to lunch one time with her. We went and did the hospital tour with her and her mother. We went and did the Lamaze class. And we even, when she went into labor, we went and picked her up from her apartment and took her to the hospital.
So what is the relationship after the legal papers are signed between both parties?
So I would say the majority of our adoptions end up in that sort of email exchange, pictures, ongoing communication, and maybe only about 20% end up where families are like regularly getting together.
We wanted to get letters and information and pictures and all that sort of thing.
Several times a year.
Yeah, which we did.
We did for many years.
Some birth mothers are involved in the child's life after the adoption papers are signed, and some are not. Regardless, both parties of parents have some sort of interaction during the adoption process, and they both want what is best for the child.